Community members, supporters from Sacramento and beyond here in the audience, thank you for being with us here today. We are here for a very special moment, a moment 14 years in the making since the initial vision and really decades since the conception of our Fire Academy to celebrate the groundbreaking for the Tahoe Basin Public Safety Training Complex. Thank you to everyone that's joined us here. Also, thank you to everyone who's joining us on the live stream, tuning in from near and far. I'm Jeff DeFranco, the president here at Lake Tahoe Community College since 2017, and it's been my privilege to be part of the Lake Tahoe Community College community and the planning group for this project going all the way back to 2012. We're going to begin today's ceremony with our land acknowledgement. It's something we do here at LTCC to recognize those who came before us and took care of this land for much longer than we've been able to. As we come together as an education community in Lake Tahoe, we acknowledge that we are gathered on the historical lands of its original inhabitants, the Washisho tribe. A land acknowledgement is a recognition of indigenous communities in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and homelands. We recognize the Washisho tribe in their native lands. We honor these ancestral grounds upon which we are collectively gathered here today, and we support the strength and the resilience the Washoe continue to show. This acknowledgement is especially meaningful today because the programs housed here on this facility are deeply connected to this land and the preservation and conservation of this land, the forests, the communities of the Tahoe Basin. Our programs here at LTCC have already built partnerships with the tribe, including those in outdoor education, forestry training for tribe members, and shared stewardship work. This facility will help in continuing those relationships with care and respect. I want to tell you about this project. I know many of you know a lot about it, but I want to make sure we know how important this is here for us. It's not only a meaningful day for Lake Tahoe Community College and for our students, but I believe it's a meaningful day for the Tahoe Basin, the state of California, the state of Nevada, and really the entire western United States. Because the students that will be trained and the professionals that will get continuing training on this facility will help protect this great region of the West. As you know, the need for this facility is not abstract. If you're part of this community, you've likely lived through the Caldor Fire, Angora Fire, and other wildfire threat to homes, forests, and schools. We depend on healthy forests, trained firefighters, and emergency responders to respond to that wildfire threat. And we know that the people behind this important work need a facility such as this to be trained at. This facility is designed to prepare and support the next generation of firefighters, EMTs, forest professionals, and other public safety professionals and emergency responders. This project is a long time in the making. Pam, do you mind if I take your program here? Thank you. This program is a long time in the making. I encourage you to open it up. Right on the inside cover, there's actually a timeline. This is a 14-year journey, right? The early versioning conversations took place on this campus in fall 2012 with representatives from fire agencies from throughout the basin, U.S. Forest Service, and other public safety partners. Some of you were here for that, some of you remember those days. It had an important step forward in November 2014 when our community approved Measure F that promised many enhancements and modernizations to the campus,
with the stuff that was given to me.
This facility. We continue to make progress.
Yeah.
An important milestone was hit with the first conceptual design of the facility back in 2020. We got our first amount of federal support in 2022.
Definitely, yeah, I need to have our control area sorted out.
That came forward by the Chancellor's Office.
If we would have had a tent, I don't think this one would have died.
To put this project over the hump.
But
Here we are in late 2026, groundbreaking set to begin. Tree removal will follow in a couple weeks, construction shortly thereafter, and then this facility will be on pace to open to students here in fall 2027.
We're good.
As you may imagine, this project is the result of hundreds of conversations with students, faculty, our fire chiefs, agency partners, certainly conversations with elected officials, state and federal leaders, all to get to this moment, right? It's been a minute since 2012, but we are here. There's been more than a few moments that we thought we were close, only for a promise to fall through or have to wait to the next legislative session. There's been plenty of moments when we could have let this sit to the side, right? Could have said, it's just not going to happen. But through resilience, it's a reality today. We kept pushing because the need was obviously clear. Now, we will have Tahoe's first comprehensive training facility for first responders, providing hands-on training for students as well as current professionals, meeting the region's need and growing need for skilled emergency personnel. You'll no longer have to leave the basin for access to essential training, heading down to Roseville or Carson, Reno, and beyond. And with our mountain community, you know that weather, distance, and costs could all become barriers. We will have our own facility here. You can see an image of the facility here. Also, there's some images within your program, and I encourage you to take a peek at. But I want to talk about some of the components so you can get a sense of how massive this is. So we are sitting on the future site of nearly 100,000 square foot training tarmac, right? So I want you to help let that sink in. So that's just over two acres. And to give a sense, and you might not be able to see it, but as you walk around, out far in the distance over there, those orange flags, that's the edge of the facility. Orange flags that way. You can maybe look to the right down past the students there. You'll have to see after it. But it's massive, right? And that's what's needed, right? That's what's needed to do the work. It'll allow for fire suppression activities, rescue simulations, equipment operations, and really that hands-on emergency response training. Because I don't know about you, when I have an emergency responder come to my house, I want to make sure that they learned out in the lab, not just in a classroom. This facility will provide for that. Also, it provides a multi-story training tower for vertical rescue, fire operations, real-world emergency scenarios. It's hit with natural gas, so we can simulate fire here. There's also 4 hydrants, so multiple hydrants, so multiple groups of cadets can train at a time, and also a water reclamation system to recapture that water and reuse it, so that way the issue of water resources doesn't impact the kind of training that we're able to do. Additionally, there's a 7,000 square foot equipment storage facility. You may say, God, that's huge. What are you going to put in there? Well, as you can see, luckily, thanks to many of you and many of our partners, we have a lot of equipment. So that's going to store our fire engines, our training equipment, our brush rigs, so on and so forth. Again, I encourage you when it's over to take a little walk around, look for the orange flags so you can get a sense of the size of this facility. Back here, when you walked in, you probably saw a wood sign, right? Talked a little bit about the program. That is about approximately the site of a sign at the entrance here that you see on the front of your program that will let the community know this is the Tahoe Basin Public Safety Training Center. And that mission is important, right? This is not just to serve, our goal has never just been to serve the South Shore. This program has been supported by fire agencies from throughout the basin, both on the California and Nevada side, and we will continue to pay that back to both those communities. It'll support a number of programs, our Fire Academy, Fire Science, Forestry Education, Emergency Medical Services, including EMT students, and Search and Rescue Training. These are the programs that prepare students for careers in municipal and wildland fire services, forest restoration, public land management. The list is long, emergency medical response, the specialized things that we need. Right in the center of your program, again, I encourage you to give that look once over. It talks a little bit about the programs, and so you can find out a little bit more about who will benefit from this. Simply put, I always say to when people ask me about the programs is someday one of our graduates will be saving your life in some form or fashion, right? So you want to make sure we are all invested in the community to make sure that they're well trained. I do want to also kind of notice we have a number of our current students for the different programs here. So our forestry program is represented. Yep. Emergency medical services, EMT students is represented. And also some students are getting ready for class 21 of our Fire Academy, also represented. And we couldn't be more proud of these programs or these students. The students are the reason why we do this work. The students that you're looking at here today are the future public safety professionals and leaders in our community. As you know, a project of this size takes a lot of people and a lot of organizations coming together around a shared need. As I mentioned, thanks to the South Tahoe voters who supported Measure F. Measure F provided $6.25 million for this project,
Do you have any
which is really our
email
seed
in here?
funding and our planning money to get this off the ground. There are many other partners and funders,
Which
and
one
you'll
is
hear
it
about
gonna
them
be?
throughout the program today.
You want to airdrop it?
I next want to
Yeah,
introduce our first
for some
speaker,
reason it's not. It's just
Lake
not
Tahoe
pulling
Community
up.
College Board President Tony Sears. He's here to say more about our gratitude in Measure F. A little bit about Tony. He was elected to the board in 2018, so he's been with us for a bit.
Okay.
Prior to retiring in 2021, he served more than 30 years as the El Dorado County as a deputy district attorney. He's been a longtime advocate for public safety programs and services. Please welcome Tony Sears. Oh, here, let's get you. There you go.
Speaker to lapel. Excuse me, I need to change glasses. Consequence of breathing too long. Hello, everybody. Guests, friends, supporters, those simply interested in what's going on here. Good afternoon. As Jeff said, I'm Tony Sears. I'm the chair of the Lake Tahoe Community College Board of Trustees. Before really beginning, I want to recognize my fellow
I
members
think
of
it's
the
just
board.
too much bandwidth.
We have
I was just
Karen
like
Borges.
Hail Mary, seeing if I could get the lower thirds graphics sent to this computer.
Jeff Allen.
I'm kind of missing the speakers though as I'm doing it.
Nancy Dalton, Carrie David, and our student trustee, Hudson Connors. On behalf of the board, thank you all for being here to celebrate this important milestone for Lake Tahoe Community College and for the Tahoe Basin, as Jeff just said. This project represents exactly what community colleges are meant to do, why we're founded. We respond to local needs, we build strong partnerships and create opportunities to serve students, employers, and the community. Regarding Measure F, the whole reason we're here today is because in 2014, the voters of this community supported Measure F. The initial amount of that bond was $55 million, and it was a vote of confidence in the community college and the future of our community. Measure F has helped to transform the Lake Tahoe Community College campus over the past decade in many ways, supporting so many projects. It supported campus modernization, improved accessibility, the Lisa Maloff University Center, the Early Learning Center. Just recently you might have heard about our student housing. And now we've got the Tahoe Basin Public Safety Training Complex getting started. Measure F, that initial $55 million, allowed us to leverage more than $70 million in additional state, federal, local, and philanthropic support. That means that original $55 million turned into $125 million. Let that sink in, right? Today's groundbreaking is especially meaningful because the Public Safety Training Complex is the final major activity, major project tied directly to Measure F. A facility like this does not come together because of one person or one funding source. It happens through collaboration, partnership, and shared commitment. LTCC was well positioned to secure this facility funding because of the strength of our fire, forestry, and emergency medical services programs. And, of course, the support from our community partnerships. Our partners have supported these programs and the development of this facility by investing in specialized equipment and providing faculty with real-world experience into the classroom.
This is off.
Our partners create
it would just be
work-based
the
learning
law.
opportunities,
I can
field
kill the line.
placements for our students, internships, mentorships, and ultimately employment pathways for our graduates. Their support is deeply appreciated and reflected throughout this project. Your support is deeply appreciated. For a full list
I think we're good.
of the organizations, agencies, and funders who help make these
Hold on.
workforces And
I don't know how we squeak that.
I used to speak for a living.
Just like downloading the
For a
VS
full
being
list
like,
of the organizations, agencies, and funders who helped make these workforce programs and this facility possible, please
I'm
take
just
a
gonna pan
moment
and
to look
follow
through
where
the
I need
back
to,
cover
just, just
of
let me
today's
go.
program. They're listed there, but they're
yeah,
long
I'll
enough
just
that I
kinda
think we'd like to be done before
intuitively
6
just
p.m.
like be ready to leave things when it looks
Finally,
like they're moving.
I also want to express gratitude to the team of Lake Tahoe Community College leaders who helped cultivate this original vision, and to those who helped to see it through to reality almost 14 years from when it was first envisioned. It represents completion of a long-term vision and the final step in fulfilling the promises made to the voters who supported Measure F, and to the entire South Shore community. Our team, led by President Superintendent Jeff DeFranco, has diligently pursued all of the projects I mentioned earlier, never wavering in their commitment to see them done, sometimes in the face of seeming impossibility. Their determination has seen amazing results, and the board congratulates them on everything they've accomplished and done. On behalf of the board, again, I want to say how proud we are to see this project move from vision to reality. Today we're breaking ground on this facility and fulfilling a promise to this community. It reflects LTCC's
supposed to be
commitment to
muted.
workforce education, regional resilience, and serving the Tahoe Basin in lasting ways. I can't wait to go throw some dirt. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Tony. And I want to thank the Board of Trustees that were introduced earlier, but I want to thank them for their diligence and long-term commitment to this project. They've been very committed to public safety programs and kept this project a priority over 14 years, over a couple presidencies.
I can tell you a little bit of a personal story. Years back, we were spending a lot of time in Sacramento to hustle $11 million for a model for efficiency. I think it took 3 different sessions. I joked that I should have just had a studio apartment in Sacramento. And I came back and I was so excited about it, and the response was something like, great, but what about the public safety training complex? Fast forward a couple years later, we acquired $39 million for student housing. We were like, oh my goodness, student housing is coming to Lake Tahoe. It's great. They said, great, but what about the public safety training complex? So clearly they've remained very committed to this. They kept it as a priority. I recently shared in a guest column in the Tribune, this project reflects promises made, promises kept. It fulfills all the commitments that we outlined in Measure F. That's something very few districts could say they do. They did, and I'm very proud of that. So, Tony, I want to invite you up. Go ahead and come on up here. And I'm going to present this to you on behalf, you're going to accept it on behalf of the board. Isn't it a beauty? My hope is that this goes in the boardroom to remind this board and future boards the power of perseverance in keeping important projects a priority. So, Tony and all the board members, thank you. Hey! I will say one other thing. Tony mentioned the many partners that are here, and I do encourage you to look at that list because this program would not be possible without them. But today is a little bit of a show and tell for our program, if you will, an open house. And as you look around and you look at our brush rigs and our engines and the car over there, you can simulate a vehicle fire and so on and so forth. All this equipment was made possible through the generosity of our many partners. And so this has been building over years, not overnight. So again, want to thank them and encourage you when we're done, you got 2 assignments. Look for the orange flags and check out the cool equipment. All right, our next partner I would like to recognize is the California Community College's Board of Governors and Chancellor Sonia Christian. The Board of Governors, in partnership with Chancellor Christian's leadership, provided $7 million to this project through the California Community College Fire and Forestry Pathways. Due to a last-minute legislative conflict, Chancellor Christian could not join us here today, but I do want to specifically acknowledge her leadership and her support. Without this project would not be possible. But I do have a very special guest. I'm excited to introduce Pamela Haynes, who's joined us here today. Let me tell you a little bit about Pam before I invite her to the stage, or invite her to the microphone. Pam has served as a member of the Board of Governors since say that all the chancellors are new, but Pam has been around through all the chancellors, right? Right, Pam's been kind of holding down the fort in Sacramento. She served more than 25 years as a trustee for Los Rios Community College District, so she's no stranger to the issues of community colleges. She spent her career working in and around the state legislature, leading research and driving policy aimed at improving the lives of Californians. And I hope that she will see that this project is very much going to improve the lives of those in our community and beyond. I will just say this, Pam has many accolades. I will simply say,
and we are honored to have her with us here today. So to share a little bit on the statewide impact and how it aligns with our workforce goals as a state, please welcome President Emerita of California Community College's Board of Governors, Pam Haynes.
Thank you. That was a better introduction than I deserve, because I do this for love and I do it for the students, and that's first and foremost. Today's groundbreaking represents more than a local construction project. It reflects the California Community College's statewide commitment to preparing the next generation of workforce in fire service, forestry, emergency medical services, and climate resilience. At the time when the California communities are facing increasing wildfire threats, climate-related emergencies, and critical workforce shortages, investment like this are essential to the future safety and resilience of our state. Through the Board of Governors Fire and Forestry Pathway Demonstration Project, California Community Colleges committed a $14 million statewide investment to expand workforce training capacity and strengthen career pathways connected to emergency workforce training and response and natural resource management. I am honored to be here today representing Chancellor Christian and my colleagues on the Board of Governors, whose leadership and support helped to make this initiative possible. And I want to take a moment, because behind those walls and those doors, there are others in the Chancellor's office who are here today in the audience, and I want you to stand to be recognized. You know who you are, come on. Thank you. Lake Tahoe Community College was selected not only to receive funding for this transformational facility, but also to serve as a statewide leader in helping support and strengthen fire and forestry workforce education across the community college system. LTCC has demonstrated what community colleges do best: respond directly to regional and statewide workforce needs through hands-on, career-connected education that changes lives and strengthens communities. This public safety training complex will become Tahoe's first in-basin public safety training facility, expanding access to high-quality instruction in fire safety, forestry, EMS, rescue operations, and emergency response training, while reducing barriers created when students and agencies must travel long distances for training. This project is also a powerful example of partnerships in action: local voter support, statewide investment, federal appropriations, regional collaboration, and advocacy at every level coming together around a shared vision for workforce development and public safety. I want to also recognize the leaders in the Chancellor's Office Workforce and Economic Development Division, including Vice Chancellor Antonio, we call him Tony, Cordova, and Dean Sherry Fortin. Would you please stand up to be recognized? Facilities like this create more than training opportunities. They create pathways to meaningful careers, economic mobility, and public service for students across California. The impact of this project will extend far beyond this campus. The students trained here will become the firefighters, paramedics, forestry professionals, and emergency responders who help protect California communities for generations to come. The California Community College's Chancellor's Office and the Board of Governors are proud to be partners in this important investment in California and in California's future. As I said on my way up here, all roads lead to workforce. Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to again thank the Chancellor's Office. As is so clear, is this project would not be possible without them. $7 million of local investment, another $1.6 million that was granted to the college for us to help lead a statewide effort to improve practices in instruction and eventually outcomes for students in both the forestry and fire fields. So I could tell you, speaking on behalf of everyone at the college, we're honored to have been chosen for that. So Pam, I want to send you down to Sacramento with something. My hope is this ends up in a place of honor in the Chancellor's Office to remind the Board of Governors, come on up here so we get you in the photo, to remind the Board of Governors, the Chancellor's Office, that your friends at Lake Tahoe Community College are so appreciative of your support. Cool.
We're glad to be back.
Yeah. It says across the top, thank you for your partnership. All right. So if you're on this, again, if you're here, right, if you're in this room, you probably played some role in this project, support of our programs. Maybe you're an alumni of one of the academies. Maybe you're an instructor in one of the academies. If you're on this stage, you had a role to play in delivering this project here. And so a little bit about some of the folks that are here on the stage. I do want to, before I introduce our next speaker, I do want to recognize former Lake Tahoe Community College Superintendent President, Dr. Guy Lee. I stand up so folks could see. And here for 17 years, and many of the projects that exist on this campus exist because of Guy's leadership. But he's predominantly here today because he helped lead and was president of Lake Tahoe Community College when the Fire Academy was first established, and helped lay the foundation for the programs that we have today. The Fire Academy, since I've been on this campus, has been considered a flagship program, something that we're proud of, something that we're known for. And your initial vision 2 decades ago, right? 2 decades ago, I believe, was the first 2006. That 2 decades ago, which got us to this moment. So I want to just take a moment to acknowledge Guy for his partnership. And everyone from really that era that helped get the initial academy off the ground. Speaking of partners, our next speaker and their agency has been a partner to this effort from the very beginning. That is specifically South Lake Tahoe Fire Rescue. I will say and I'll acknowledge, and as is pointed out in the program, if you look at our program partners, what you'll see is we have so many agency partners, fire agencies from around the basin and beyond, CAL FIRE and others. But South Lake Tahoe Fire Rescue has been here since day one and stepped up early on and said, we want to help support this academy, loaned engines and things of the such, facility space, and many things back in day one that got us to this. So I want to invite Chief Jim Drennan here to share some comments. A little bit about Jim. He's served our community since 2000, was appointed fire chief back in 2020-22, and he has served as a part-time faculty member in our fire academy here on our campus, training students that now serve throughout the region. Jim has been a big proponent of this going all the way back to 2012 in the early visionary conversations, a supporter of Measure F and helping getting that across the finish line. And Jim, like my board, has often said to me, great news about housing, but what about the public safety training complex? With that, please join me in welcoming Chief Drennan to the stage.
should have practiced this part. Wow. Well, thank you, President DeFranco. Yep, it's been a long haul. I wanted to say good afternoon and welcome. This is really quite the honor. I'd like to start by thanking President DeFranco and the Board of Trustees for inviting me here today. I'm truly humbled to be standing before you as we get ready for the groundbreaking. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jim Drennan. I am the fire chief here in the city. I'm also the president of the Lake Tahoe Regional Fire Chiefs Association, so I'm sort of wearing two hats today. I'm also one of the old guys who still remembers the first conversations about standing up a local fire academy well over 20 years ago. I was lucky enough to be invited to several meetings in 2004 and 2005 where we penciled out what would become the Lake Tahoe Community College Fire Academy. To be fair, there had been conversations for several years prior about creating an academy, but to really gain traction with support from the college, South Lake Tahoe Fire, Lake Valley Fire, and Tahoe Douglas. I'm going to pause here for a minute. I didn't plan this part. They set me up really nicely. The city donated that engine. Tahoe Douglas donated that engine. Lake Valley donated that engine, and I think that brush unit over there. Tahoe Douglas's ladder is right here. Yeah. It's kind of a perfect prop for the first three agencies that really started to bring this home. Let's see if I can find my place again. So we ultimately put Class 1 together in the fall of 2006 and watched them graduate in June of 2007, ironically a day before the Angora fire. During those early years, we begged, borrowed, and stole equipment, apparatus, and any spare piece of asphalt or dirt that we could train on, often on the front ramp of the local fire stations. The level of interest and the success of the program clearly demonstrated a need for a dedicated facility to allow the program to grow and improve. Fast forward to 2014, when the college put Measure F on the ballot, which inspired some truly ambitious and bold plans for the school, which, among other things, included building a training facility here on campus. As firefighters, the concept of a centrally located training facility that could serve the academy, as well as our local agencies, was something most of us had only dreamt about. Seeing it come to fruition solidifies not just the commitment from the college, but a strong commitment from all of the partner agencies here in the region. For years, fire departments here in the basin struggled to recruit and retain qualified candidates. We were often hiring applicants from the Sacramento Valley, the Bay Area. We would bring them on and train them only to see them leave for not what I would call greener pastures, but definitely warmer climates and a lot less snow shoveling. They would stay just long enough to bolster their resumes so they could be more competitive for jobs down in the valley. Having locally, I really can't stress this enough, having locally trained firefighters allows for what I would describe as a months-long application and interview process, meaning we get to take a real good look at potential applicants, since all of our instructors, most of which are in the back row back there, work locally as well, either for our agency or all the regional agencies. The training cadre comes from South Lake Tahoe Fire and our surrounding partner agencies, most notably Lake Valley Fire, Tahoe Douglas, North Tahoe, not to be confused with North Lake Tahoe Fire, Truckee Meadows Fire, Cal Fire, Forest Service, Olympic Valley, North Star, Carson City, Alpine County Fire, El Dorado County, and East Fork. I'm sure I forgot someone, and I'm also sure they're going to let me know. In closing, I would just like to say that I am proud that our department was one of the founding partners for the Academy. I would also like to thank the College Board of Trustees and President DeFranco for their leadership and long-range planning. They were able to take Measure F far beyond the reach of the original bond by leveraging those funds and lobbying tirelessly at state capitol to make what I thought was a dream back in 2006 into a reality today. Thank you.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So, as Jim aptly pointed out, he's here presenting on behalf of him and his agency, but really representing all our important fire partners, not only our founding partners, but our long list of partners that have grown over the years. So, Jim, because of your support, we want to provide you a little thank you for your partnership. We hope this will find a home in the station where it could be shown with honor. And as we know, there's so many folks in both your agency and really all agencies throughout the basin that have made this possible. And again, just to all our agencies that are out there, we know Jim's up here kind of accepting, but he's accepting this on behalf of really all our fire partners. So I want to make that clear. So thank you to all of you. And I think she wants us to look over here. I appreciate you gazing into my eyes, but. All right, I'm gonna pivot here, switch gears a little bit. You know, we're certainly spending a lot of time, rightfully so, celebrating this profession of being a first responder, of being a member of the public safety field. But we know that these are challenging jobs, and they're jobs are not without risk. And before we move further, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our own. As you know, as most of you know, just a few weeks ago, our community mourned the loss of Lake Valley Fire engineer. Lake Valley Fire engineer, Neil Schneibel. He was a graduate of our fire academy here, class 11, back in spring 2017. He later returned as an instructional aide in the program. He worked with Chief Terry Hughes during that time. He graduated with an AA in fire academy this past December from LTCC, so came back as a student to kind of move up to this engineer rank. He had successfully passed his engineer exam back in April and was officially promoted to the rank of engineer slightly before his death in the line of duty on May 4th. He is representative of many individuals in this field that give everything to the field to protect our communities. His service, leadership, and commitment to this community are also a reminder that while these programs are about training, we must also recognize the people who dedicate their lives to protecting others. So please join me now in a moment of silence, honoring Neil and his service to the Academy and his service to our community. Thank you. It felt appropriate and timely in our community to recognize him, especially due to his deep involvement with our academy and being a recent student of this college. All right, we're getting close here. I'd say we're rounding third. Everyone knows I love a good sports metaphor. But before we move to the groundbreaking section of the program, keeping with the baseball analogies, I'm going to back clean up and capture a couple final thank yous. Again, on the back here, I encourage you to give this a look. It talks a little bit about the funding, so many of our partners, our permitting partners, our funding partners, so on and so forth. But I want to acknowledge some of those. I want to start off first with our colleague and Senator, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, and also the late U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein. They provided a federal appropriation support of $1.5 million for equipment and infrastructure for this program, which is going to bring this training tower that you see here to reality. As you know, Senator Feinstein is a longtime advocate and supporter of Lake Tahoe, and I think it's fitting that one of her final congressional appropriations goes here to support a cause that she felt so strongly about. And certainly, Senator Padilla has been a great supporter of this college. He's been a friend to this college and to this community. I do want to note that we're joined today by Roberto Ortega from Senator Padilla's staff, who's here with us today. Roberto, where are you? Oh, thank you, Roberto. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for being here. Find me before you leave. I got something for you. But with that said, I would be remiss. Certainly, Senator Padilla and Senator Feinstein made this particular thing possible. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention so many of our partners, both in DC and Sacramento. Many of them are represented here today, are represented by their staff. When I say your person's name, maybe we could just stand up. So we have Congressman Kylie's staff joining us here today. Jack has been a great supporter of LTCC. Senator Alvarado Gill's staff here today. And Assemblymember Hadwick's staff here today. So thank you to you and to those who you work with for their longtime support to LTCC and also this region. A couple other partners, I want to note Division of State Architects and TRPA. Sometimes both of these organizations, I think, have a history or perception on rules and processes. But in this project, and both our student housing project before it, they really stepped up with the power of partnership, understood our timelines with funding and grading seasons, and helped work with us to deliver these both to reality. I know we're represented by many folks from TRPA here. Special thanks to Executive Director Julie Reagan, the TRPA board members, Devin Middlebrook, and Brandy McMahon, who's been our planner through these projects, and really the full team here at TRPA. We appreciate you working with us to bring important projects to reality. Also, I want to recognize our architect, JK Architecture and Engineering. They've been working on this project with the college for several years. Back to 2019, 2020, we first started having conversations, and they did the design of this project and both our housing project. I know we have some of our representatives from JK Architecture here. Go ahead, you have to wave your hands. Thank you. All right, one or two more. Also, the Cumming Group, that's our construction project manager. We've been doing a lot of things here on this campus, building a lot of things. That's not possible without a team. They've been working with us since 2022, so I want to thank them. I'm not sure if Roy's somewhere here in attendance. There you are, Roy. Roy's got a lot of hours in this project, and he's solved a lot of complicated things. I mean, this project, there's a lot going on here, right? You know, you're talking about live fire, water recapture, there's a lot happening in this project. It's complicated. Don't let it fool you. Finally, to the extended Lake Tahoe Community College staff and community who have been dedicated to this project, some for more than a decade, others in recent years. All have made an impact. Many of them are my LTCC team. Some of them are represented, but many of them are out there in the audience. Our faculty and staff in these public safety programs. So many conversations to figure out what is it that we exactly need to make this possible. All right. Ready to move to our final step. I'm looking for Dr. Scott Valentine. Is he going to come out? Oh, there he is. All right, you could start heading there. So, not about fire today, but this is also about emergency medical services and also about forestry. And it's common to break some ground in these ceremonies. But before we break ground, we're actually going to take a moment to recognize the important role forestry takes, and we're actually going to remove our first tree. So Dr. Scott Valentine, I want to tell you a little bit. Yeah, cool, right? As you know, forests go hand in hand. And let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Valentine. He's been a faculty member, full-time faculty member here for 2 decades, 20 years, was a part-time faculty member before that, worked for the U.S. Forest Service for 7 years on meadow restoration, creek registration, so on and so forth. And he helped get this program off the ground, so it's only fitting that it's time to fire up that chainsaw. And I'm going to talk a little bit while he's doing this. He says it'll take a couple minutes. But I will say this. As an environmentalist, as a conservationist, I think for a long time we've all thought we don't want to take down any trees in our community. What we've learned in the lessons of Caldor Fire is that well-managed forests that are taken care of by a professional forester, that are invested in, like the work that you see happening on Pioneer Trail right now, that's going to protect the forests, keep them healthy for generations, protect our communities. And even this space, we're going to lose some trees in this beautiful space, but I am certain, I am confident that the amount of forests and homes that are going to be saved from those that are trained at this facility will be tenfold compared to the number of trees that we have to take down to make space for this. So, Dr. Valentine's back there doing his work. Go ahead and direct your attention to it. And what I will say about this is, it's also, our students do this work, right? The students that we have in this facility, in forestry, they deal, or fire, they deal with live fire. Forestry, they're taking down trees, dealing with chainsaws. Like, these are challenging fields. There was a little prediction this might happen, so. But I know Scott's got it, because he's a professional. But no, in all seriousness, I think the final thing I do want to say about Scott, looking back to my notes,
is Scott helped get this program off the ground. He helped write the curriculum. We committed to this in earnest immediately following the Caldor fire. It was something we had talked about. Like the Fire Academy, it took many years to get the program off the ground. But after the Caldor fire, we all knew that, we could not defer, we could not delay. It needed to happen right now. Here we go! Yeah! All right. All right, cleaning up his work. Okay, yeah. Scott, come on up here. Scott's representing all the safety gear, right? You'll see our students, right? They're not in their day-to-day dress. They're wearing the gear of their programs. These, if you don't know this now, if you don't know this yet, these are serious programs. Scott, you got something in mind here. I see what you're cooking up. First tree.
Oh, where'd the sticker go?
I love a good surprise.
In case you needed a coaster for your celebratory champagne, sponsored by the forestry program. Here you go, Jeff DeFranco.
I thought you were gonna break it on an engine or something. All right, can we hear it for Scott for taking this on? Thank you, perfect, awesome. All right, so let me tell you what's next. We're gonna break this ground. Are we ready to break ground? Yeah, get this project going. We're gonna break this again. I wanna say now, after the fact, these shovels are gonna be here. We're gonna have our photographers here. I'd love to get our TRPA partners up here, our different fire agency partners up here, our chancellor's office partners up here to get some photos, and we'll get those to you. But we're gonna go ahead and do it for real here first. So, I want to invite Chief, my board members, Pam, Vice Chancellor Ferguson. We're going to bring you with us too, if that's down to the groundbreaking area. Here, Jim, hop in over here if you don't mind. All right, all my board members, you're on this side. Pam, you can be right here. You're right here. Nope, just grab a shovel. Grab a shovel. Right. Sure. Right. Oh. Hudson, come on over here. All right, you're good. You're good? Yeah.
Yeah, one more.
Chris, yep. Chris, come on over. Okay. Over here. Point. There's the mic. There it goes. On. Where did you recognize this? This shovel is from 19 Lake Tahoe Community College. And you'll tell by the plaques, facility groundbreaking. And so it's at 40 years, you're beyond vintage, according to my teenager. So you're not yet an antique, but it's vintage. All right, so go ahead and get your shovels in there, everyone.
But you guys face Jeff this way, so that way you're at Jeff.
And do you want me to go this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good. You got us? Are we good, Angie? Are you ready? We ready? Everyone ready? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Let's move some dirt. All right. Again, thank you to all our partners. Let me tell you what's next. We encourage you to hang out here. Check out the equipment. Look for those orange flags. This facility is massive. We're talking 2.2 acres, folks. There is a reception at the University Center. We hope that you'll join us for that. The University Center, there's food and refreshments, and get to hang out and visit with peers. You could walk down the bike trail and get there right here. You could also hop on a shuttle. And again, we're going to leave these shovels here. I want to encourage some of our partners to come up here that made this possible and get a photo with your group. Do you need one more photo?
Yeah, one more.
All right, one more photo. All right, hold on. Just put your hand on the shovel.
All right,
All right, thank you, everyone. That concludes our ceremony. Yeah. Hey, Pam and Chris, are you guys here? You guys want to get...